What's up, guys?
On this week's show,
We talk about Ant-Man and Robin Hood,
Who should be the god of war?
and Turd Art is the new black,
With special guest,
famous Sheamus of Chewed Gum,
all that and more on this episode.
of One Giant Leap for Geeks.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for
Geeks. Welcome to another episode of OGLFG, where we talk about movies, video games, and all things in geek culture. I'm your host, Mike C. Squared, and with me is my co-host, DJ Mellymel.
Hey!
You know, DJ, we have a very special episode. Like, I feel almost like it's gonna be one of those, like a Family Matters episode where it's like, oh, somebody's doing drugs and, they've taken too many sleeping pills or something like that. Yeah, it's gonna
hit everybody in the field.
Right. It's gonna be a very, very special episode of One Giant Leap for Geeks. It's going to be special because we are going to have a special guest. And because we have a special guest, we had to come up with something special for this guest. So far, it's just been this kind of free-form show that we've had, but we wanted to make a special little segment for our special guest. So then they felt like, hey, I didn't just come into somebody's, garage show and some bullshit that they threw together on the fly. And it was like, hey, yeah, come be on our show. With that being said, I am going to present our special guest, and we're going to ask him some questions. One Giant Leap for Geeks proudly presents Talking With. This week we have a special guest, famous Sheamus of Chewed Gum, who was gracious enough to join us today. We're glad to have you on the show, Sheamus.
Hello.
Go ahead and tell the people a bit about yourself.
Oh man, I'm not even really here. First of all, it's very existential. This is gonna be a long speech, guys. So I know you got an hour and a half to kill. So if you guys want to get comfortable while you can, I don't know, man. I'm fucking bored a lot, basically. I'm a podcaster myself, and you guys know this. And I do a lot of shows, and I chose to do a lot of shows purposely because podcasting for me is it's like a combination of all of my skills put into one thing. If that makes sense.
No, yeah, totally.
Especially when you do everything yourself. You know what I mean? That sound engineering, all that shit. Everything comes together in one package when you podcast. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm a ginger. I played basketball for a long time. I played music for a long time. I was actually a musician for about 15 years. Vocalist. I'm not a youngster, man. 29. I'm going on 30 this year.
Oh, wow.
Just
Congratulations.
Yes, Dad. No.
Hey, you fit right in with the rest of us.
Right.
Right, Jesus. But I found out recently that we millennials, if we were born by 1981.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. All these people who are like in their like mid-30s are like, oh, these fucking millennials. No, you are a millennial as well.
I know. They talk too much shit about those people. But then I realized, because I thought it was something else. I did not think it was us.
Mm-hmm.
See, technically there's two gaps of millennials. They have the older millennials, and I guess the newer, younger ones are called Generation Z.
Okay.
So we're okay to call ourselves millennials. The Generation Z kind of takes up after anybody who is, I believe, 22 or younger.
Okay.
And then the millennials gap all the way up to anybody born into 1989, 88 or something like that.
Yeah. It's definitely something. It's definitely a crazy thing. Like, I did not know that because I was trashing millennials like crazy. Cause I thought it was like anyone 17 and younger. Thank God I know now that I can trash Generation Z instead. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for myself.
I mean, if you cover it and you're like those younger millennials, they give us older ones a bad name, then I think we'll all be all right.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes more sense.
Well, since we have you on, before I get to, giving you the questions and whatnot, I wanted to place you somewhere on the geek spectrum, so to speak. Whether or not you're going to be a anywhere between a full-blown anime waifu geek or I occasionally watch The Big Bang Theory geek. So I'm got some questions to try and place you somewhere on that spectrum. So first off, I want to know, PlayStation or Xbox?
I'm not a person that argues about either one because I'm a gamer. So it really doesn't matter. I can play on either system, but I do have 3 Xboxes. So
I would probably say Xbox at that point then, yeah.
Yeah, I would probably agree.
Okay, Marvel or DC?
Oof. You're throwing me under a bus here. If I could, I don't know, man, because my favorite, okay, you're gonna say DC because my favorite is Flash, 100%. But there's something about Marvel, the whole universe. You know what I mean? I love Wolverine too. Gambit was always one of my favorites. So it's really, I don't know. I don't know. You decide. Is it DC? I have a Flash tattoo. So.
Sheamus, you kind of fit in the same category I do. Everybody knows that Batman is my absolute favorite superhero, but, the X-Men, they're in there. You got Iron Man, and you got Thor, and you got... So, there is. It's hard to pick just one side.
But that's where, like, DC, it's like you can choose one guy. You know what I mean? It's either Superman or Superman, pretty much, for most people.
I'd probably say Batman, if anything, though. I'm like, people like Superman.
I'll say Superman's a pansy.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever.
Look, I like Superman, personally, but, I can see why people don't, per se. But anyway, here, I don't want to get lost on a tangent with that. Okay, so, I'm probably going to go ahead and say DC, then.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
Okay, all right. And last question for the geek spectrum. Dragon Ball Z or Naruto?
Oh man, this is where I'm sleeping under the bus. I know, live there, by the river, but that one right there is a tough one because it's most definitely not Naruto. Like no, but I also wasn't a huge fan of Dragon Ball Z. Not saying that I was anything against it, but I didn't really watch the show as much as a Dragon Ball Z fan would. But I was obsessed with the artwork. The artwork for Dragon Ball Z is phenomenal. Most of the stuff that comes from Japan is phenomenal. That's why I like Pokemon.
Oh, agreed.
So I would say myself Dragon Ball Z because I've never even seen Naruto. I only know what it is because I used to work at Hot Topic at one point.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So, all right, fine then. So, and to recap, we got Xbox, DC, and Dragon Ball Z. So it's kind of, I'm actually like surprised at this combination because usually the way that I set up these questions were purposeful to try and make it a which side are you on the other. It's like almost like a Democrat or Republican type thing. It's like, because a lot of people who like PlayStation like Marvel, and a lot of people who like Marvel like Dragon Ball Z, but with like Xbox people, a lot of them like DC or Naruto, things like that. So I'm like, it was an interesting little combination. Like I liked how that turned out. But okay, all right, no, that's fair. Okay, so I did want to ask you some other questions. Why don't you go ahead and just tell the people about your show, and specifically tell them about Chewed Gum. What is your podcast about?
Okay, well, Chewed Gum was actually just kind of it was a random thing that came up because of the previous shows that I had been doing, and I was like, you know what, guys, there's nobody that you have ever met in your life that knows movies and actors the way that I do. So I figured I felt like it was something new. I was bringing something new to the podcast genre by saying, hey, we're talking shit about entertainment, from top to bottom, even old stuff, which is kind of ridiculous because our promo says recent entertainment, and that's not the case. But it has grown into something that I wouldn't have never expected. Like, people are, I don't know, it's it's not the baby, but it is, like I said, it's a podcast where we pretty much, dissect entertainment. Doesn't matter what it is. it's always fun because there's so much entertainment around us. It's hard. It's not. I don't know. Like I said, the loop before is like, man, so many people are doing Ready Player One and Black Panther, and the timings of them coming out. And it's like, I can't do that. I don't want to be that type of podcast. And also don't want to go in there favoring everything. Like, oh, this is awesome. This is great. This is fantastic. I want to be like, hey, if it's shit in my opinion, it might be shit in your opinion, but I'm not telling you not to see it. Spend your money. They need that.
Oh, sure. Okay.
But that is, in the end, that is too dumb, basically.
Okay.
Talk entertainment.
No, for sure, and that's a big part of what we do here at One Giant Leap for Geeks. Like we mainly, I find, talk about movies and TV shows. We definitely do talk about video games. I desperately want to talk more about anime, but I got to get DJ Melly Mel to start watching some anime for that to happen.
Right? Yes, it is a massive genre, unstoppable genre.
Oh man, there's so many shows that I've seen within the last year or so that I've been wanting to talk about. Where I'm like, oh god, I need to get this.
Well, not to switch the subject here, man. But what do you think about the actual movies that they made from the anime on Netflix? You know what I'm talking about, like Dark Note, I think it is.
Death Note. Oh yeah, no, it's funny.
Yeah,
I actually did when I did my worst things of 2017 list. It was right around when the podcast first started. It's the second or third episode, and I talk about the Netflix Death Note series or the show, the movie, I should say, and
yeah,
it was. Yeah, it was really fucking bad. I was really upset because Death Note is one of those, I feel like, gateway animes where almost like a gateway drug. If you smoke Death Note, you'll do heroin in a month. But no, no, Death Note is one of those ones where it's more of a mystery crime thriller than it is traditional anime that most people think of. When most people think of anime, they think of powers and beams and people screaming for 20 minutes on the screen, and it's no, Death Note is very subtle and there's not a lot of fantastical shit to Death Note. I mean, obviously there's the the death gods and the Death Note itself, but other than that, it's basically a story about a serial killer. And I even got my girlfriend to watch Death Note, and she fucking hates anime. So when I saw the movie, I was like, how do you fuck this up? This is the easiest thing that you could have translated to an actual movie, because it's such a simplistic story, but, it was 7 or some shit like that. I was like, I don't know how they fucked this up. It could have been so great. But see, I'll go off on a whole rant again about that.
That's what I kind of thought.
Either that or I'm sorry?
They just did the Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, I've yet to see that one. I love that anime, but I've yet to see that movie yet.
Yeah, Netflix is really, they're stretching it, I think, with some of the things they're doing. But moving on.
Right. But no, I wanted to know, so what... Now, for the people that don't know out there, you have multiple podcasts. You don't just do Chewed Gum. You also have Aggravated Hour, and you have Tuesdays with Mary. Tell me, what made you want to start doing a podcast in the first place, let alone multiple podcasts?
Well, basically, like I said, we were musicians. Luke was my guitar player. I did vocals. We were doing that for 3 years, just him and I together. And our band was called Kevin. So super unique for a metal band, I would say. But it was an acronym for something else. But it spelled out to Kevin. So we were like, hey, we're going to make it to the scene, because what other metal band is called Kevin? They usually have gross names. But anyways, we were like, well, basically it was me. I was like, man, we need more promotion. We need to get our music out there, and we need to do it more often. We need to get people to see it. And I was like, podcasting is blowing up, because I was an avid listener anyways. I'm huge into Dan Cummins' Time Suck right now, because he just talks about every single thing that I'm interested in for the most part. So you fall into one that you like, and you look forward to the next episodes when they come. But that's where I was like, this is definitely good promotion. It would definitely help us. And honestly, that's how our Tuesdays were. We would meet every Tuesday and hang out for a little bit and talk about everything under the sun. And look up trailers and do everything we could to basically keep ourselves from making music, and then finally make music for like 2 hours and then go home, you know. And during those talks and stuff, it was like, dude, we should be recording all of this. You know, this is great stuff. Really funny stuff, really kind of introspective. You know, it was interesting things. And I was like, okay, well, let's look on the camera for the laptop. And we started making videos. We made several videos that were over an hour and a half long of just us talking nonsense consistently. And I was like, you know what, let's transfer this, because Luke's not a fan of being in front of the camera for some reason. I don't know why. He just feels like it's taking his soul. But we're like, you know what, let's put a microphone in front of our faces and see what we do. That's why you guys can tell Luke's still a little bit afraid. He won't be that loud on the microphone either. That's why he plays the guitar. He wants to be in the background. He doesn't want anybody to see him. He said if he could get just some sort of curtain right in front of him, he would play on stage.
He could just be like Lady Gaga and just get like one of those weird ass haircuts that just hides his face all the time.
That's true.
Honestly, my first thought was he'd be the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
There you go. I knew it was a Z, damn it.
Yeah. Rangers. So one of the last questions I want to ask you is, so obviously it's the show's called One Giant Leap for Geeks, so I had to kind of finish this up with a geek related question. What is your favorite superhero movie?
Well, as of now, you should know this by now, but Justice League is a phenomenal film, and I've yet to see Infinity War. You know, I haven't had the pleasure. So, you know.
Oh my God.
Justice League. So, what can I say? And that's why I lean towards DC, and that's because, honestly, I'll tell you this. Here's a crazy story. My son's name is Ezra, and we named him Ezra because, Ezra Miller played Flash in the Justice League movies.
Oh, wow.
So there you go. That's how much I like Flash. Yeah, buddy. I didn't even name him Barry Gordon. You know what I mean? I stretched it to like, I like the actor who played him that much.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Nice.
I mean, exactly. I thought it was a cool name too, and also the fact that, you know.
Yeah, no, it's a very unique name. Like I don't know like where it originates from, but I've never heard anything like it before.
No, I've seen women named Ezra, and you know, be that as it may.
Oh,
and
really?
Every time we bring it up to people, they're always like, you know, oh, is it, you know, did you name him in the Bible or something? I'm like, I don't think I read that story. Anyway.
Okay, well,
because think about it. If I explained where the name came from,
sure,
you know, outside of the Bible being the general idea of what they're thinking, what would they be thinking if I was like, oh, it's a superhero kick? It's just too absurd for me to even go on explaining. Move on.
Oh, not necessarily. I mean, you know, this shit has become a lot more mainstream than I ever thought it would get to, especially from the time I grew up in, where it was like, you know, you weren't supposed to openly admit that you liked cartoons and shit.
Right. Yeah.
And you know what's funny is I've always been a superhero kind of person. Like, Ninja Turtles were in that category, and you had, you know, the Captain Planet and all the superhero cartoons. I've never hidden the fact that, you know what, I like comics, I like superheroes, I'm geeky and nerdy, and I don't care who else thinks that it's stupid. It's what I like. I knew I couldn't be the only one out there.
Now, do you guys remember the episode when Phoebe has to name her baby friends?
Yes.
And they're like, Joey's like, how about the Hulk?
Yes.
She's like, maybe just, I like the idea of starting a name with the. Like, no one's done that yet. Believe me, I had an even crazier idea for my son's name, and I'm not ashamed of it, but I'm not going to tell you guys on the show. I'd rather do it off mic because I was definitely stretching leaps and bounds. Let's just say that.
Nice. Well, Sheamus, why don't you go ahead and tell the people where they can find you?
Well, because you know, I'm everywhere. If you're left or right, and I'll be there. No, if you want to get a hold of famous Sheamus, I guess, it would be at Sheamus the host, and this is all on Twitter. Instagram, it would be at Sheamus Isn't Funny. For Chewed Gum, it's Chewed Gum Pod on both Twitter and Instagram. And Tuesdays with Mary, TWM_podcast, both Instagram and Twitter. And the last one, Aggravated Hour, same thing. This isn't yelling on both Instagram and Twitter. And you know what I just found out the other day? This is cool. You guys can listen to every episode we have for each podcast for free, easily on Podbean. And I didn't know that because I used to hate Podbean. I kind of started with them, and now we're in a quarrel. Yes.
Awesome.
I mean, I used to listen to more, podcasts there, but
okay. See, I'm new to this whole podcast thing. I always used to joke that the people that had the talk shows in the '90s that went out on the broadcast for the radio. I used to be like, wow, who would want to sit and listen to somebody talk for an hour or hours and hours on end? And then apparently everyone. And now I'm finding new podcasts, people that are fans of our show and people that we follow and people that we've shouted out to, and I click on them and I listen to them and I'm like, oh my God, there are people out there that like the same things that I do. I could probably, get into this kind of gig.
I think a big reason that
we are a society, I guess. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. No, I was just going to say that I think the reason that podcasting is popular to begin with, let alone why it's growing, is because it's such a passive experience. It's not like a movie or something like that, or something visual where you have to pay attention or read something and you have to have like a good amount of your focus on that thing. Podcasts, I can be at work, I can be driving in a car, cleaning a house, making dinner, like you could be doing anything while you're listening to a podcast. And I think that's kind of the secret of why it's becoming so popular, especially because everyone has a cell phone. It's free. There's like a million different apps. Like if you have an Android phone, you can listen to podcasts. You don't even have to download anything. If you have Google Play Music, you can listen to podcasts. If you have an iPhone, iTunes, you can listen to podcasts. So it's definitely
growing. There's so many new ones that come out all the time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Apps, like platforms that, I've never even heard of these that I'm featured on. Just like you said when I showed you Castbox.
I wanted to go ahead and talk about the Robin Hood trailer, or should I say Arrow the movie. So
with Jamie Foxx.
Right. So, all right. First things first. In the thumbnail to this episode, there will be an image from the trailer of Robin Hood, and I took the CW Dare to Defy logo and popped it on him, and I swear to God, it looks like perfect. The trailer reminded me so much of Arrow. Now, don't get me wrong. The Green Arrow is an obvious, throwback to Robin Hood, the character in general. Instead of him being, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, he is rich and this, that, and the other, and he does this shit in the streets. He's kind of like this weird Batman, but not. But anyway.
Flash's friend.
Right, exactly. But with the trailer to this, it looked so much like Arrow to me, all the way down to the fact that they even had a Diggle. Like, I know that Jamie Foxx is supposed to be playing fucking Little John in the Robin Hood movie, but he's basically Diggle from Arrow. And I'm like, what is this? Okay, I have
I'll do her thing here.
Well, I watched it, and, I've had a lot of things going on, so from the time that I first watched it, and then I had to go back and watch it before the show, I really enjoyed it. I really did.
Okay, all right.
We've had so many different adaptations of Robin Hood, and we've had so many attempts at Robin Hood. I think that's kind of nice to see a more actiony kind of Robin Hood. He's not just Kevin Costner in some tights. He's Robin Hood, and he kind of fits this whole superhero persona thing that we've got trending now in movies and TV series. And yes, it did, kind of hint at Arrow, like a vibe of Arrow, but I'm okay with that. I don't like Jamie Foxx. I think he will play I think he will play Little John quite well in this movie.
Okay.
I kind of pick and choose what kind of Jamie Foxx movies I like. Either he has to just nail it, and for most of them he doesn't for me. But I think this portrayal will probably, I don't know, be a decent one. What about what?
Well, what I was going to say is, like you said with Jamie Foxx, is he kills in Collateral, the movie with Tom Cruise. That's one of the things, like you were saying, that he really does, I think, in my mind, is a great job. But I kind of messed up here, guys, and I had a joke written down here that I was going to use about Robin Hood Men in Tights, but I don't think that the line is from that movie, so I am not going to say it. But I just want to let you know that I wrote it down. It was the Inigo Montoya. Isn't that from Princess Bride?
Yeah, that's from Princess Bride.
Inigo Montoya, I'm here to save you.
Yeah.
No. That's just how dumb I am. It's, what I was going to say about, I totally agree with DJ Manuel right there. Like, this shit it's going to be intense. It's going to be really intense, but once again, you got to remember that trailers are only going to give you a certain percentage of, they're basically going to try and make you think it's something that it's not. Purposely to throw people off, you know what I mean? In some cases.
Sure.
Not always. But with this guy, the director, you know who the director of the movie is?
No. I didn't catch that.
His name is Otto Bathurst. And he actually directed Peaky Blinders and Black Mirror on Netflix. So that's pretty intense, dude. That's, who knows where it's going to go with those two shows being under his belt. You know what I mean?
Okay. I do like both those shows.
Right, exactly. And they're very, especially Black Mirror, it's very twisted.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Taron Egerton is the kid that plays Robin Hood in the movie, in the trailer, of course.
Yeah.
I think the main thing with my opinion is the fact that they chose him. It's nothing against him personally. It's just he's got the Kings of the Circle Men or whatever the hell.
Oh, Kingsman, yeah.
And then they're like, oh well, let's bring him over here and let him be Robin Hood that fast. Like, I feel like it should be just a fresher face. You know what I mean?
See, I looked at that kid and I didn't even know who he was, and I thought he would look. But I mean, I like seeing. I don't know, when I see people take on these giant roles, they either have big shoes to fill, like in, say, the Han Solo movies, or not movies, but movie that's coming out, or they're some nobody from some Netflix show, and
right.
It's a 50-50 shot whether they're worth it or not.
Okay,
right, exactly.
Okay.
I mean, you guys got to remember, Russell Crowe recently played Robin Hood.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I did find out that one of the producers on Robin Hood is actually Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh,
so
really? That's interesting.
Yeah. He's the only big name that I saw, though.
Well, okay. This is my thing. Robin Hood, the story has been around for like hundreds of years at this point. And it gets retold in film, it feels like every decade or so, and it's just that time of the decade again for another Robin Hood movie to come out. And my problem with it is that the way that the trailer is set up, it kind of gives away the plot of the movie, because it's all like, instead of us knowing from the get-go, I mean, we the audience will know, but it's like a mystery of like, who is this masked man, Robin Hood? That is, it's like they're trying to like turn him into Zorro almost. But my problem with it is, in the trailer, they're all like showing, Taron Egerton, it would be like beating up dudes and shooting them with arrows and just whooping ass, and it's all like da 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 da, and it's like, who is this masked man? Who is the Robin Hood? And he's like, I don't know. Who could it be? And I'm like, who is this for?
Right.
As an audience member, as a person watching the trailer, we know that you are the star of the movie. We know that you are Robin Hood. Why are we spending half the trailer going, who is Robin Hood? Like it was going to be Jim Carrey at the end or some shit. Like, we knew it was Taron Egerton the whole time. Exactly. So when he takes the mask off, it's supposed to be like this big moment in the trailer, and it's like, well, no shit. We know it's you. But
ridiculous. They take those blanks.
The physics are what bothers me, because this is kind of the side effect of superhero movies being so big. Like, I get so sick of people talking about superhero fatigue, because superhero movies are not going to go anywhere. Like, these are doing, Black Panther just made $1 billion, and then Infinity War made another $1 billion behind it. Like, these ain't going nowhere. But my thing is that other movies get affected by the popularity of superhero movies, because now everything has to be a superhero movie. Like, they try to, that's why I said this felt so much like Arrow, because it's so like hyped up to 11 that it doesn't feel like Robin Hood anymore. It's like he's like jumping off buildings, turning, shooting arrows. Like, he's shooting the arrows so fast, he's not even pulling them from his quiver. They're just like appearing in the bow, and he's just shooting over and over again.
Insanity. And what I believe is what you're trying to say is that they're trying to compete with.
In order to be relevant,
And that goes with action stars throughout. You know what I mean? Even The Rock being in Rampage and Jumanji and shit like that. You know, those are kind of action movies, but they still have to compete with the action that comes from the DC or Marvel universes all the time. They're nonstop. Like you said, it ain't going away.
Oh no, by no means. But it's funny to me that they're still like making these like, you know, history fantasy epics or whatever that's not, you know, based off of something that's more contemporary, like a Lord of the Rings or a Game of Thrones or something like that. That they keep going back to this well of like these old school movies, because, you know, we just did the King Arthur movie by Guy Ritchie, and that turned out to be shit. It was like, who thought, like, oh no, I get it. They just did the wrong property. We'll do Robin Hood, and that's the movie that people have been waiting for. It's like, no one wants to see this shit. And I think that they kind of know that on some level. So they're like, well, what can we do to get the kids excited about this? It's like, well, we got to give them like superpowers pretty much and shit. And it's like, well, now it's not Robin Hood anymore. You were calling it Robin Hood, but even like the time period seemed weird. Like in the trailer, they're wearing like almost like modern day suits almost. Like it's not like...
Yes, that's what Luke said. That was the first thing he noticed, because I was the one that pushed up the trailer as soon as it came about.
Yeah.
And it was like, are some of those guys wearing suits?
Right. And they have like beer bottles and shit. There's a scene where the dude has like a Molotov cocktail. And I'm like, what time period is this set in exactly?
Who knows, man? It's all up for debate. I guess we can only, it's just waiting. Like I said, the same thing goes with the Venom. You know, with the Venom trailer, it's all confusing.
Oh no, I've already written that movie off to be bullshit. I'm sorry, I can't be unbiased. I know, and that's what's so disappointing, because Tom Hardy's awesome, but the way they're directing him is just.
Yeah, they were trying to put him somewhere. The same thing with Charlie Hunnam from, Pacific Rim, and then he played the King Arthur character. They're just looking for somewhere to put Jax Teller, as a superhero.
Yeah.
It's
not working for them, and it's disappointing, because I think that Tom Hardy could be a great Venom, but not the way that they're trying to get him to portray it, because they're doing this anti-hero
No, because
bullshit.
you were exactly right. You were exactly right in the episode, because you said Eddie Brock was like this tough guy, football player.
Yeah.
And then even when in the new Spider-Man, they switched around Flash Gordon, and they made him like this little Indian guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of the big bully. I don't know. It's
No, I know what you mean. It's like it's not, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a stickler for everything has to be exactly like it was in the comics, but at the same time, for how iconic of a character that Venom is, for you to get to trying to fuck with his origins and shit, it's going to turn people off to it. And I know people are going to make the argument, it's like, well, in issue number 57 of this story arc, Venom actually, and it's like, okay, that's cool, but that's not the traditional Venom that the masses know. That ain't the Venom that we saw in the Spider-Man cartoon in the 90s. That's the Venom that we want. We don't want the Lethal Protector Venom and the good guy Venom. We don't give a shit about that.
Exactly.
But anyway.
So let me ask one quick question.
Sure.
That, because I've been hearing rumors about Carnage. What do you know about that? Because I had two people in mind to play him, but I heard Woody Harrelson.
Yeah. Supposedly Woody Harrelson's going to be in the movie, and people think that he's going to be Carnage, is what the theory is going to be. Because Venom has to fight somebody. If he's going to be the anti-hero, he's got to have some villain. So they think that they're hiding it until closer to the movie coming out in October, but we'll see.
Because is Woody Harrelson that good of a Carnage? That's why they're like, oh, keep this.
I think as an actor, Woody Harrelson will be a great Carnage. I think he'd be a great Cletus Cassidy, but I just don't think that he's going to get.
Crispin Glover.
Yeah, no, he would, cause he's weird and creepy as shit enough to where he could be. But...
And he looks like the Carnage, outside of the Carnage stuff.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, he looks the part for sure.
He's a creepy thin man. All I'm waiting for is I'm waiting for them to put Johnny Depp as one of these damn superheroes. Okay.
Nah, well, man, he could be a villain, but I don't want to see Johnny Depp as no hero because I don't want to see his goofy ass fuck it up. Because Johnny Depp just loves...
I don't like Johnny Depp as a hero.
Johnny Depp just loves makeup and dress-up kits. Like, if you give him a fucking costume, he'll lose his fucking mind.
Yep, he will be a whole different guy for years.
You will have fucking Mad Hatter as fucking Robin or some crazy shit fucking around with him. Like, nah.
Oh, man.
Captain Jet.
Right. And then he'll do a weird accent. That's why I can't wait to see this Fantastic Beast, The Crimes of Grindelwald shit, because he's going to be the villain in that. And I was like, oh, man, he's going to do some weird shit.
That's good.
I was like, I didn't even like Fantastic Beast, but I just want to see the second one just because he's going to be the villain, because I know he's going to do some just dumb shit.
Get Colin Farrell out of there, stop saving money, and go get Johnny Depp.
Right.
But I don't like Colin Farrell that much.
Yeah, he's
nah, that's okay. I'm with you. There's only one movie that I like Colin Farrell in.
Name it.
And that was SWAT.
What about Seven Psychopaths?
I don't think I saw that one.
Ooh,
that's a pretty good movie. Yeah, that's a pretty good movie.
Oh, I like Christopher Walken. Might have to check that out if, I ever get time to watch movies ever again.
Fair. Maybe just watch the trailer if you can.
Yeah. What was it called? Seven Psychopaths?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So there was this image that was floating around the internet of Jason Momoa as Kratos. And there was this rumor going around that Netflix was making a live-action God of War series, and it was going to come out in July, and it was going to be starring Jason Momoa. Now, before your dicks get wet / pussies get hard, don't get excited, because this is fake news.
Oh, no.
It's not happening. But I did...
Too late, I already jumped on that bandwagon.
Right. But I did want to, take this opportunity to try and find out, who should play Kratos if they ever made a live action series or a movie of God of War. Like, who do you think would be a good Kratos? Now, in preparation for this, we put out a poll on Facebook asking, people just who would you want to see play Kratos in a God of War movie and or series? Yes. We got 154 votes, and the final result ended up still being Jason Momoa with 55% of the vote. It was a breakdown.
Can I tell you why?
Oh, here, sorry, real quick.
The only reason that people were choosing this is because of the way he looked in Game of Thrones with the eye makeup on.
Sure.
I don't know. He looks pretty good in Justice League.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's swole up, but I'm just saying with the eye makeup, it kind of matches the God of War character. So people already can see him in that.
Sure.
That's not how they did the Netflix fake news thing.
Yeah, no. I think the Photoshop itself as well, though, to kind of really swayed people, because it's like, well, when it's right there in front of your face, it's hard to see anything else but him as the character.
Bald?
Oh yeah. In the comments, I posted the original picture that started this whole thing in the first place, and it looks really good. Like, it looks legit.
Interesting.
But yeah, so Jason Momoa won with 55%. The Rock was 23%. John Cena got 12%, and then it was 10% other. And some of the other choices were, so for example, Shattered Worlds RPG at SWRPG Pod, they said this dude with some CGI beefcake. The guy's name is Leonardo Nam. I guess he plays a character on Westworld. Unfortunately, I have not seen Westworld, so I'm not familiar with who this guy is, but he was a suggestion. Flix X-Rayed at Flix X-Rayed said OG Kratos would be Cena and new Kratos would be Jason Momoa, which I could kind of see that. the Kratos from the original God of War games, not like the newest incarnation, because they kind of changed Kratos a lot. He's a lot older, and you know, it's a much different game now.
I don't want to see John Cena as Kratos. That's just not something.
Oh yeah, no.
And I like John Cena. Like,
oh sure.
Think about it. I love John Cena. No, MC Squared can definitely tell you I like John Cena.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah. Bolo.
I don't want to see him.
Bolo, he was another choice. Bolo, goddamn, I can't think of that fucking movie that he's from, but just Google Bolo, like you'll see who I'm talking about. It's this big Asian dude. I'm pretty sure like they called that guy like he was supposed to be like the Asian Incredible Hulk or some shit like back in the day. It's kind of racist, but it's like whatever. Then somebody named okay. So his name is Name Kicking Ass Taking Wet Cat at Joshua Never Josh. He says Josh Brolin, he's got the build, he's got the gravitas, and really what's left for him after wielding the Infinity Gauntlet than to punch Zeus in the face. And I was like, wow, that was actually a pretty good answer. I was like, I can't really argue with that.
Somebody thought about this.
Yeah, right, sure. Right. And then one of the other ones...
I'm waiting for the Kratos movie.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. One of the other ones said Joe Mama at Man in Black 815. They say the Mountain Man from Game of Thrones. The guy that stabs the other dude's fucking eyes out in that one episode.
Yeah, he's like Bjorgensen, whatever, something.
Yeah, that dude, yeah. I was like, I could see that. Like, that dude, he's got the build for it for sure.
That was what I was going to say, too, is Mountain from Game of Thrones. But what about Brock Lesnar?
Oh, that's another good choice, yeah.
If you could put some acting shoes on that motherfucker, he would be a crazy
some acting
villain,
shoes.
Superhero. He's massive.
Nah, I'm good.
Nah. Yeah, moving on.
I don't even want to see Brock Lesnar as a wrestler, let alone as an iconic video game character.
He's lifting weights in his garage and leave everyone alone.
Yeah, we're not going to get started on Brock Lesnar.
Right. We got another one here from Goddamn Mondays at Goddamn Mondays. They said Samoa Joe. Hey, I've got an idea at HIGAI show says love J Mom so much. So yeah, they're all about the Momoa. You know, somebody else here said his name is William McKellar at Lard Teammaker. He says, from seeing of late, but he probably wouldn't do a great job, is Triple H, which I was like, that's an interesting choice. I could see Triple H as like an older Kratos.
Why are we stuck on all these wrestlers?
Honestly, because of the build, yeah. I mean, now you could get a regular actor. I mean, look at Chris Evans. Chris Evans was always in a decent shape. I mean, I remember him back in Fantastic Four. He was all right, but he got big as hell to play Captain America, so... I mean, you know, you could get somebody to that point. I mean, and look at Ben Affleck. Look at how big he got to play Batman.
Yes. Why don't we bring back Christian Bale and get him swole up like Batman Begins?
No.
That's your favorite character, and you hate Christian Bale, huh?
I despise Christian Bale.
Yeah, no.
The three Batman movies with Christian Bale are the absolute worst Batman movies ever. Ever.
Oh, we still got an episode down the road that we're gonna do where we're gonna try and figure out why DJ Melly Mel hates the Christopher Nolan Batman movies.
Wow. That's fair. You gotta know. The world's gotta know.
But
the world will know.
But the last one I got here, this is by Sunday Studios and Part-Time Hero Props at Sunday Studios. They said they may as well go get the guy who played him in the latest game at Eric Jacobus. Now, I went and found Eric's YouTube channel, and he makes like little short films and stuff. He's the guy who did the motion capture for Kratos in the latest God of War video game. And he doesn't do the voice acting, but he does the motion capture for the character. And he's like I guess like a kind of like an indie filmmaker, and he does small short films, kind of like, just fight choreography and stuff like that. And it's actually really damn good. He had a really good one that I watched that was, it was basically Groundhog Day meets like Rumble in the Bronx, where he kept waking up over and over again, and he kept getting into this fight with this like martial arts street gang, and like each day he kept training to get better at fighting them, and he kept fighting them, and every time he'd get knocked out, the day would start over. It was really, really good. But shout out to Eric Jacobus, because he saw the tweet that the person said about that they should get him to play Kratos, and he actually liked and retweeted that. So I was like, shout out to Eric Jacobus, thanks.
Yeah, right, man. There you go. Because you have to figure Mark Ruffalo, like what a piece of shit of a Hulk that is. But he doesn't definitely. Do you think he does all the CGI work?
I think it's yes and no. I think it's a bit of a mix of him and like a stuntman for like some of the more like intense shit that he probably has to do. Because Mark Ruffalo,
yeah,
he's the luckiest person out of all these like Avengers movies, because he doesn't have to stay in shape. He ain't got to work out or nothing. Like he's supposed to just be like a regular skinny dude, so he can just do whatever.
Yeah, they were like, let's just have this wide-faced man slip into the Hulk. No, but the reason I say that is because Ferrigno has done voiceover work for Hulk since the beginning of Hulk.
Yeah.
So you got to figure, so with the Kratos thing, it wouldn't be hard for the guy to, be in the film as the, actor basically, but then have somebody do the voiceover work when necessary, because I don't think Kratos says that much, right?
Well, I mean, he does. He's actually not one of those like stoic, like I don't speak type Assassin's Creed type heroes. Like Kratos talks a good amount of shit actually. Because I don't know like if you remember some of the kills in the God of War games, but when you would kill some of the Greek gods, like Kratos would talk shit to him as he's killing them.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but like that was probably it. But even then, in the movie, they would draw up some sort of script and dialogue.
Oh, for sure.
Somebody would actually have to read it.
But no, my thing is like I wouldn't mind Jason Momoa being Kratos per se. My biggest issue would just be he's just popping up in so much shit. He already played not Hercules but Conan. He's playing Aquaman. Like I don't want to see him be Kratos too. Now luckily this isn't even a thing that's really happening right now, but if it was, the last person I'd want to see is Jason Momoa. I'd rather see them get the dude who played Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy before I'd want Jason Momoa to be Kratos.
Mm-hmm.
Or really anybody else.
Batista?
Yeah, Dave Bautista. Yeah, I'd take him over Jason Momoa in a heartbeat. I mean, hell, he even looks more the part of Kratos than Jason Momoa does to me.
And he's got good comedic timing, surprisingly.
Yeah.
What about Vin Diesel? Vin Diesel could pull it off.
Man, don't bring your Vin Diesel bullshit in here. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit. Fuck a Vin Diesel.
Interesting.
Man, hell no. I saw The Last Witch Hunter. Okay, that movie, that's the closest thing to Kratos he ever gonna get. And that movie was some bullshit.
It's just the voice, man. He's got that voice.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. No, if they wanted him to do the voiceover for Kratos, sure, I'd sign off on that shit. Yeah, but I can't co-sign him playing Kratos. Hell no.
Because we'd have to have somebody anyways over like 6'3" for sure. They have to be a big dude. Like,
I don't necessarily, because I wasn't one of those people who were like, oh, Hugh Jackman's too tall to play Wolverine, like, or Christian Bale's too short to, or I'm sorry, Michael Keaton's too short to play Batman. Like, I don't really care about that kind of shit, because I mean, the way they film it, they can make him look taller or shorter if they need to.
I mean, nobody knew Tom Cruise was only like 5'5".
Oh yeah, Tom Cruise short as shit. But
they could definitely do it. But it'd be interesting.
But my thing would be, if they were to make a God of War live action anything, I wouldn't want a movie. I would want it to be a series, like, because there's so many God of War games and there's such a rich story there that you can extrapolate out into a show as opposed to trying to truncate everything into a 2-hour movie. That, I mean, just the first game alone could be one season of television. Like, and I don't need to be a 25 episode, series or anything. Like 12, 13 episodes is probably enough to tell that story. But you can go from him fighting all the little, demigods and monsters from Greek mythology, working his way up to, by the end of the season, the final, boss would be an actual Greek god like Ares or Zeus or somebody like that. And then you can just keep going season from season until you get to the very end where you'd end off from the last game where Kratos kills Zeus and, destroys Olympus and all that shit. Like, it could be.
They could get good actors.
Oh, hell yeah.
The only problem with that is if they didn't want to follow the games. Like, if they had all the correct monsters in there.
Sure.
But they didn't have them in order. So, like, if they throw Kratos in there and he's fighting, the little monsters he fights in the first game, and then they flash to ones that they fight in the third game, and then flash back to the ones, kind of like Gotham does, where all of Batman's villains are all right there, all at the same time.
Yeah, I know, right? And Batman's like fucking 11 years old, so it's like by the time he becomes Batman, the Joker's like 50. It's like, why are you even fighting him? But yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Why is he still a palpable villain?
Right, exactly. It's like the Penguin is like 67 years old, Batman. Like, why are you punching him right now? Like, Jesus. It's like, if anything, they need to put your ass in Arkham for senior abuse. But no, I get what you're saying. But I mean, still though, like, if the right people, the right showrunners were behind it, and they put the right budget behind it and got the right actors to play the Greek gods and to play Kratos and shit. Because I mean, look at how much people love Game of Thrones and like the Thor movies and shit like that. Like all that like Greek, ancient shit. Like, man, motherfuckers eat that shit up. And I'm like, it already has, exactly, fantasy. Lord of the Rings, all that kind of shit is all of that wrapped into one. Clash of the Titans, all that. So why not make it? It already has a following and shit. Like, this is kind of a no-brainer. I'm really surprised that no one has done this shit. But anyway.
It's something that they can put their name behind and stand behind it for, season after season. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah!
People will buy subscriptions purely for that show.
Exactly, exactly, and that's why I think they keep doing all that anime shit is because they're trying to get the anime people to get Netflix that don't have it already, that are like watching Crunchyroll and all that kind of shit,
or just to get people to watch Netflix.
Oh yeah,
anime. You know what I mean? They're putting their name on all of them.
Oh yeah, no, they gotta diversify their platform because they're losing movies from other places, so they got to make more original content,
especially
which is good.
They're charging us more now.
Yeah, but my thing is, I keep giving Netflix all this praise and saying how bad I want a series, but after the shit that they pulled with Death Note, and I hear that Full Metal Alchemist ain't all that good. And yeah, there's a few others like Bright that came out that was some bullshit. I'm just like, man, I don't even know if I even want Netflix to make that shit. Maybe they should go to HBO Go because Game of Thrones is on HBO and that's good. So maybe they should go over there.
Crackle.
But anyway, we're running a bit longer than I thought we would. So I'm gonna try and wrap up this next one pretty quick. But okay, so.
Yes.
I fell down a rabbit hole, and don't ask me how I came across this on Twitter, but there is a Twitter page of this girl, and here, let me bring it up real quick so I can give you the exact handle, so you too can be grossed the fuck out. Her Twitter name is Turd Art, and her handle is @sickneeds. She has
Wait, what was the at again? Say it again.
Her is @sickneeds, SICKNEEDS. And she has 3,452 followers, she has 567 followers, and she follows 3,452 people. And her profile picture, she's a very pretty girl. And in her profile picture, she is sitting on a toilet with her pants pulled down, taking a selfie in the mirror. And her banner is a picture of a big-ass fucking turd being flushed down the toilet. Now, her most recent tweet is from March 22nd, and it's her 3-year anniversary on Twitter. So this bitch has been doing this on Twitter for the last 3 fucking years. And I'm like, how have I never heard about
500 followers.
Oh, yeah, no, the fact that she has 500 followers is what's so crazy as hell to me, that somebody would actually follow this shit. So, basically, what she does is...
They're following the shit, Mike.
Right, exactly, no pun intended. Basically, what she does is, not daily, but every so often, just takes a picture of a fucking turd that she dropped that day. She took a shit and she wanted to share it with the world, I guess. And
Jeez.
it's not just her taking pictures of her turds. She has stories behind them and shit. So she actually, like, depending on what the turd looks like or how many turds and what kind of formation they're in, she has shit where it's like, oh, this looks like a mother holding her child, or, you know, a tree that, you know, tipped over by a beaver. Just weird shit, man. And
Run.
and what's so fucked up about it is it's not just her. There's like a whole community on Twitter and on the internet about turd art, and these motherfuckers have just they have fucking pages on Reddit and all kind of shit, and they just post pictures of their turds. They talk about the shit that they ate to get the turd to look like that, the consistency, what color it was. People, you know, give, like I said, little stories and grade them. It's the weirdest shit. No pun intended. It is the weirdest shit ever. Like my head almost exploded because I'm like, we've been finding more and more weird shit every week, and this was one of the ones where I was like, what?
Let's get down to brass tacks, man. What are we looking at price range for some of this turd art?
Right. What do I gotta pay to get this shit hung up in my fucking gallery?
Yeah, like, how do you do that? You're just taking a picture of your poo. You can't sell any of that. You're selling the photo. You know what I mean? People are just being gross. It's a shit fetish, and she has 500 people that are like, I'm down. I want to see what you make. When you brought it up, man, I honestly thought it was going to be like somebody was taking the poo
and like sculpting it or some shit.
Yeah, making some characters. That's art. You know, you could sell that.
Right.
It might not turn white, you know. But she's just like, look at what I made today. I had a lot of carrots and stew, and they have a life story. My poops.
Right.
I think it all stems.
People get away with, you know.
I think it all stems from the fact that we have a poo emoji. Now, with all of us being around 30, the fact that we have emojis for everything and we can't physically say words probably is contributing to the fact that this chick is taking a picture of the poo in the toilet.
Yeah. You also got to think about her argument would be, you know, anything is considered art, right?
I don't want to see my own, let alone anybody else's.
I'm not gonna lie. I looked at probably one too many of her posts when I was researching this. I went. I didn't go as far as to follow the Twitter page yet, but
you didn't fall down a rabbit hole. You fell down the toilet.
Yeah, exactly. It was bad, man. I came across so many. I've never seen so many turds in my life as I have in the last couple of days.
I can
check it off the bucket list.
I can think of a million other things I'd rather see on a daily basis. I mean...
Especially that would consider themselves art.
Hey, you can use it for, like, inspirational posters and shit. Like the ones that they have in the library to say read, It'll just have, like, one... It'll just be a turd, just laying at the... But not one of those turds that cleanly falls into the toilet. One of the oes that hits the side and kind of smears it a little bit on the way down.
Yep.
It'll be one of those. And it'll just say, like, hope.
You know what? I think we might have just helped her business along.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah. So don't forget, boys and girls, you can order your turd hope posters at onegiantleapforgeeks.com.
Oh, yeah. Anybody else has got some good ideas for poop memes or anything, let us know. We'd love to.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. All right, but I'm done giving this bitch any more of my fucking time. I just wanted to
please.
talk about that because I was like, what? Like, oh my God. So, Ant-Man and the Wasp dropped another trailer right after, I think, not even a week after Infinity War dropped?
Yeah, I think it was a few days.
Yeah, so they jumped right on the good wave of hype train that's going on for Infinity War right now. Everybody's talking about Marvel at the moment, so this was a perfect opportunity for them to put this out, especially, too, because it's coming out in July, I think?
Yeah. beginning of July.
Yeah, so it's only a few months out, so it's like, they're going to start
It's
getting
nonstop.
Yeah, ramped up for the ad campaign for Ant-Man. Because I think this is the last Marvel movie we're going to get this year. And then we won't get anything else until Captain Marvel comes out
March.
next year. Yeah, in March. Now, Deadpool does come out in between that. But that's not technically part of the MCU. So we don't really count that one. But still. We will get more superhero movies. But it won't be more Marvel superhero movies. Anyway.
Well, what are we going to do, man?
Well, shit.
Wait, hey.
We're gonna have to entertain ourselves with the DC crap that's coming out.
We got Aquaman coming in November?
Hey. No, I was gonna say,
No.
Isn't Spawn Marvel?
No, Spawn's actually an independent comic book company.
Really?
Yeah. I think
They
Dark
should do
Horse
that.
or something like that. Yeah, Todd McFarlane, the guy who created Spawn. Yeah, no, he started his own comic book company and he took Spawn with him.
Damn.
Yeah,
Thank you for that information.
No, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And that's actually in the works too. Is he's had a script for a while, and they are talking about trying to cast somebody to play Spawn. And
it could only be Michael J. White.
There's some rumors. Right, just bring him back. Why not? There's some rumors that they want to get Jamie Foxx to play him, and I'm like, please don't do that. Like, please don't do that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
He's now Little John. Like, he's done enough work. He's a booty call. I'm done seeing his face.
Yeah, no. But you know who I think, and then we'll go ahead and finish talking about the Ant-Man trailer. But do you know who I think would be a good Spawn? Michael B. Jordan. After seeing him play Killmonger in Black Panther, I was like, he would be a good fucking Spawn.
Yes.
That was terrifying.
Oh, man.
I finally watched Black Panther, and he was terrifying.
Oh, man.
He was a scary guy.
He was
great.
He had
spider bites all over his body. And
spider bites?
Yeah. He was very scary, and he had the gold fangs. Specific choice. Frightening. I thought he was going to win. Anyways, not to spoil the movie for anyone. I'm just kidding.
Oh, shit. No, at this point, yeah. I was going to say, like, if you ain't seen Black Panther yet, you way behind the ball at this point for spoilers. It's like, hey,
but
man.
you still have opportunities to see it, by the way.
Yeah,
it's
still playing in some theaters,
yeah. Still there, everyone. What about real Michael Jordan as Spawn?
No? I'm going to say no to that one, yeah. Even though I love me some MJ, I love Space Jam, but yeah, no, I'm not seeing that happen.
I love that shit too. Bill Murray. Why does he have to age? Everybody else ages. Why Bill Murray? He couldn't just look normal still? Damn it.
To me, Bill Murray's always looked kind of middle-aged. Even when he wasn't middle-aged, he's always looked middle-aged.
That's true. Like Steve Martin.
Yeah, it's kind of like him, like Bruce Willis and shit. It's like when you have like a really bad receding hairline, it's like it makes you look a lot older than what you really are.
I know.
But anyway, so Ant-Man.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
So I think that this is going to be a good change of pace after Infinity War because the way that movie ends is so dark and dour and sad that we need kind of like a pick-me-up in between before we go back into the serious, shit before Avengers 4 comes out. So I'm glad that...
I honestly think that Ant-Man has always been the Marvel kind of comic relief.
Oh, for sure, yeah. That it's like, I'm glad that they're putting out Ant-Man now where it's the more lighthearted of the movies so you can kind of, catch your breath after all the shit that happened in Infinity War. Like, if they'd put out another... like super serious type, like the world is ending kind of movie, you'd be like, okay, man, like this is like overload, like this is too much. And
it's getting darker.
Yeah. It's like, you don't want to turn too brooding, and then you start having the complaints that people have about some other superhero movies, DC. But I like in the trailer though that the Wasp, she seems like she's gonna be a much better Ant-Man than Ant-Man is. Like, she seems much more capable of the two, which they imply that in the first one.
Right.
Well, I think the person that they got to play the Wasp is a lot more believable as a superhero than Paul Rudd, honestly.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Honestly.
I was going to bring it up.
Yeah, for sure. No, I love me some Paul Rudd. I've loved Paul Rudd since he was in one of those fucking Halloween Michael Myers movies, like before anybody knew who he was.
Yes.
But he
Friends.
even though he worked out and got his little 6-pack on and all that shit, like Paul Rudd's never really came across as like a superhero per se, but I think that's kind of the charm of Ant-Man, is that he kind of has the same thing going for him that Peter Parker does as Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man is a superhero, but he's a kid, so you see him more as the kid than anything else. But with Paul Rudd, because he's such a comedic character and he's kind of a fuck up and shit, that's kind of the whole thing with his character, is that yes, he is Ant-Man, but he's kind of a fuck up. You know, it's like, yeah, he'll get the job done, but he's gonna fuck some shit up in the process as well. So I was like, I like the little dynamic between them.
Like, what was that, Hancock? Not Marvel, but a superhero that gets shit done, but in a fucked up way.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I liked Hancock.
Yeah, I heard there was one for a second. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. Keep talking about. We don't want to drive off of this topic. But I was going to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned the Wasp.
Yeah.
That's Evangeline Lilly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
From Lost. And she is a fantastic actress. And I saw that Michelle Pfeiffer is supposedly in this Ant-Man movie.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's going to play
That's gonna be interesting.
The Wasp's mom, the original Ant-Man's wife.
Yeah. So that's going to be cool, man.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Michelle Pfeiffer's. I don't know.
I was gonna say, I wonder if it's weird for them, or if they've even caught the irony that both Michael Keaton and Michelle Pfeiffer are playing characters in Marvel movies now.
Yeah, that's
because the last time they were in anything together, they were Batman and Catwoman back in the day.
Yep. You just burst the bubble, man.
Yeah, no, just the whole internet's head exploded just now. I can hear it through my headphones.
You're like, wait.
I can totally see the memes. You know, when DC makes shit movies, you jump to Marvel.
Oh, man. Oh, well, look, Lawrence Fishburne, he done straight jump ship like a motherfucker. He just turned in his 2 weeks notice and left. Like, he's supposed to be playing Perry White in the DC universe and Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman and all that shit. And it's like, now he over here in the Ant-Man movie. And I was like, hold on, man. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, people keep tracking that shit. I've seen your face too much, sir.
Oh, no, that shit cracks me up because I was just like, man, that's out cold, man. I was like, y'all just you know what? This shit ain't going nowhere good. Like, I'm just finna peace out and get me a piece of this Marvel money because fuck this bullshit over here. Oh, that shit had me in tears. When I saw him pop up in the trailer, I was like, oh, hell no. Nah. He's like, what? He's like, what? What's wrong? He's like, never mind, man. It would be like if they got fucking, what's the actor's name that plays Alfred now? He was Scar and...
Jeremy Irons.
Yeah, Jeremy Irons, yes, thank you. It'd be like if Jeremy Irons... turned up as, I don't know, if Jeremy Irons ended up being J. Jonah Jameson in the new Spider-Man movie.
Green Goblin.
Sorry. Right, exactly. You'd be like, oh, man, that's some fucked up shit. Like, he just straight jump ship like that. Like, you ain't locked in with a contract? He's like, yeah, I got out of that shit, man. Like, my career wasn't going nowhere fucking with them.
I wanted to play a villain.
He's like...
But also, speaking of Batman, you know that Alfred is his number one son? He could destroy Batman. Moving on. Like you guys were saying about Paul Rudd, playing Ant-Man.
Sure.
From the very beginning when I saw that he was playing him, all I was thinking is, Peter Clavin as a superhero. Like, yay. That's all. I get too deep into those guys and some of their better characters. It's no different than like when people see an actor on the street and they call them by a character they played. So it's like, me, that's Peter Clavin. That's not Paul Rudd. And he's Ant-Man now? What? All I keep thinking is, like, what's going to happen next? What character is Will Ferrell going to play? Or Brendan Huff?
No.
Oh, God.
Nothing.
Well, they did get John C. Reilly in Guardians of the Galaxy, so, hey, it's not a far stretch to believe that Will Ferrell could pop up in some shit.
No,
they
can't.
Do something. Just fully against it. Adam McKay directs the next Marvel movie.
God, no. Fuck no. No. No, but I do like that... Since the first, because the first Ant-Man is alright, I guess. Like, I don't hate that movie, but it's not my favorite Marvel movie. But I like that in this one, that this one seems a lot more fun than the first Ant-Man, and they're being a lot more creative with playing with size. Because, like, the big gimmick in the first Ant-Man was, just making everything small. And, yeah, they did a couple things big. They made the ant big. They made the Thomas the Train big or whatever. But they didn't really play with size all that much. And this one... they're doing a lot of fun shit with size, like where she throws the salt shaker and makes that shit big, and they shrink the car and then make it big again to knock the other car over. The fact that he rides a fucking flatbed truck like a skateboard was fucking hilarious to me. I was like, okay, that's dope. I was like, that was really cool.
I like Michael Pena a lot. You know, the guy who's like his partner.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, he ends up in that truck that gets really small. He's like, I don't want to die.
Yeah, he was like, what happened? He was like, we got little.
Yeah, so good, man.
Oh yeah, no, Michael
Pena,
with the right amount of him, he can be hilarious. Sometimes he can get a little annoying after a while, but I think he's pretty funny though.
Like what when he plays like a stereotypical Mexican guy.
Yeah, I mean that kind of bothers me a little bit because I'm like, I don't know if you should play into the stereotype like that, but I mean it is a funny character, but I don't know if you want to come off as like, you know, the dumb Mexican guy and shit. Like I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean I do like Luis though. I mean, I feel like Marvel paid attention to all them Michael Pena memes as Luis from Ant-Man because there was all those memes of like, you know, oh, I want to hear somebody, you know, tell me what the stock market did today, and I want it to be this guy, you know, narrating it or whatever, and they'd have a picture of Michael Pena from Ant-Man. So I'm like, I guess they caught on to people like that character and think it's funny, so they tried to put him more in the movie. T.I. is back, apparently. I saw him in the trailer for a second. I'm like, apparently T.I. is still... T.I., the rapper, T.I.
Oh.
You know, what you know about that? What you know about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's back. And then, you know, Michael Douglas is still back.
What? Let's just turn the show into a shout-out to T.I. real quick.
I know, right? Yeah. Shout out to Real Housewives of Atlanta, all that shit.
I will say that he can act, though. He can fucking act.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I think the thing I liked him in the most was that movie with Denzel. I think it's like American Hustler. It has
I know what you're talking about.
It has Russell Crowe. He plays a cop, and Denzel is like
American Gangster. Yeah.
Gangster. I'm sorry, American Gangster. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I think T.I. is pretty good in that. But yeah, no.
Decent comedic timing too, but yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
I was just saying T.I.'s got good comedic timing as well.
Oh yeah, no. He plays a good funny guy.
Yeah. No credentials whatsoever.
Yeah. So, final thoughts on Ant-Man?
Anyways, go ahead. Sorry. I was just making a reference to Common. I see him everywhere. Like,
yeah, Common's in a lot of shit. Yeah, because he was just in
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, and what else was he? He was just in John Wick 2.
In what?
John
Wick 2.
Oh. I love the expansion, right?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I mean, hey, you know, props to them. Like, hey, do your thing. Like, I ain't gonna hate on you. It's like I don't necessarily like the rapper turned actor thing because a lot of times I'm like, man, y'all could have got somebody who is actually a good actor who hasn't been discovered yet to do this.
They paid to go to school.
Well, not only that, but it's like there's a lot of people who haven't been, you know, found, quote unquote, yet that could use a break that aren't getting considered because, you know, 50 Cent want to be in a movie.
Yep, because he already has a name.
Yeah. But anyway, final thoughts on Ant-Man.
I like it.
I'm excited for Ant-Man.
I like the idea of I'm a big fan of partners. You know what I mean? Batman, Robin, Ant-Man, Wasp. It's such a good idea. Everyone deserves a partner. You gotta have somebody to watch their back.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it feels kind of like ever since Phase 2 ended in the Marvel movies, it feels like Phase 3 has been about pairing up people, because after we had like the Avengers and all that, now it's kind of hard to break everybody up and be like, oh, well, why isn't Thor and Captain America helping out in the Iron Man movie? You know, so they've been kind of pairing people together, like Thor Ragnarok was Thor and Hulk. You know, this will be Ant-Man and the Wasp. Civil War was like pretty much everybody. Guardians are a team already, so you don't have to add anything to them. But it seems like all these movies going forward have been like team up movies, which I like that. It's like you said, I like the hero and their sidekick or the hero and their partner or whatever. Like it's fun to watch these characters play off each other. So yeah, like I like
the benefit.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no. What did we say? Sometime in July?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think mid-July or beginning of July or something like that.
Yeah.
I know it's
I don't have to for that one.
not too far from my birthday, so it might be a
Okay.
good birthday present.
There you go. Right. It's like hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Just saying.
Yeah, you know.
All right. We are going to get into our little last show, or show within a show. All right. So.
I believe they call those skits.
Skits. Yeah, there we go. It's that time again for America's #1 show, Dumb Shit of the Week. That's right, Dumb Shit of the Week is the show where you submit your findings of dumb shit, and we talk about it. Want your submission on the show? Find us on Twitter at GiantLeap4Geeks, or you can email us at officialOGLFG@gmail.com. Now here's your host, DJ Melly Mel.
Thank you. Okay, so this week's dumb shit of the week. Alright, you know how everybody's all on board with the eyelash extensions and, I gotta make my eyelashes look big, I gotta make them look big. Well, this week is no different. This week's dumb shit. People are taking eyelash extensions and sticking them in their nostrils. I'll pause and let that sink in for you. In case you missed it, people are taking eyelash extensions and sticking them in their nostrils to create nose lash extensions.
So real quick, I just want to clarify.
I swear to God, I can't make this shit up.
I just want to clarify. They want it to look like there's more hair growing out of their nose than what's there now?
Correct.
Okay. I just wanted to. Okay, all right. Go ahead.
It's a defense mechanism, so you don't get anything in your nose.
Right. It's like a Venus flytrap in your face. Yeah.
The pictures that I found, they come across on Facebook, and then I did a little digging. This is actually a trend somewhere in Japan or China, Eastern Asia, typically.
Fair enough. Stay over there.
Well, they want to take the eyelash extension and stick it on the inside of their nose. So their nose looks like the front of the Beetlebug cars with the fake eyelashes on them.
Oh,
and
wow.
They have lashes going around the entire circumference of their nostril.
It's weird because I thought the weirdest shit now we haven't confirmed whether or not this is Japan per se, but I'm just going to take a wild guess and say it probably is. I thought the weirdest shit that I ever heard coming out of Japan was like being able to buy like used panties out of vending machines, but this has somehow taken the cake. I don't know how it has topped that, but this has somehow been even weirder than that. Even weirder than anime tentacle porn. Like this is weird.
Well, I will send you both the pictures that I found. Pictures, I should say.
Oh yeah, no, I got to see this shit. Yeah, and kids, if you want to see it at home, Google what is it? Is there like a name for it? The trend?
Just nose lash extensions, nostril extensions. There was a few.
Oh god, nostril extensions.
What happens if you already have them?
I don't know. Essentially, they take the glue and they put very little glue on the outside of the eyelash because they're using eyelashes, and they're gluing it on the inside of their nostrils.
It's like, bitch, why you want your nose to look like Snuffleupagus? Like, I don't even understand what's sexy about that.
Yeah,
What's the goal? You're trying to attract people that like cars?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about what the whole point of it is. It's just that was somebody started it, and they said, "Hey, this looks good."
Maybe,
It really doesn't. It looks like they've got about 4 spiders crawling out the side of their nose,
oh fuck,
or out
no.
the bottom of their nose.
You know, maybe it's like one of those like weird like superstitious things, like, oh, like it's for fertility, like it'll make you make sure you get pregnant the next time you try. You know, if you grind up this rhinoceros penis and snort it and shit.
Yeah, I think it's right up there on my scale of sticking the wasp nest in your vagina.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The wasp nest is still pretty high up there, man. That one's. I mean, now, and to clarify, it is not an actual wasp's nest, but it's like grounded up and made into a paste or a dust or some shit. But still,
Fancy.
Yeah. So that's the dumb shit of the week. Just a public service announcement. Please stay away from nostril eyelash extensions. They look stupid. They look like you got spiders coming out of your head. It's not a good look. And if you're trying to do it for like fertility reasons, I guarantee it's probably going to have the opposite effect of what you're trying to accomplish, because nobody wants to sleep with that. Just wait till you guys see the picture. I'm telling you, it's tragic.
I don't know. I don't even know if I want to. I kind of would rather just watch the chick take pictures of her turds instead, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like I'm more on board with the poop photos.
Right, of my two choices, I think I'd rather go with that.
Yeah, at least I can understand it more,
Yeah, I look at
real
my
hard.
turds after I take a shit anyway, so I mean, yeah, at least that I'm accustomed to.
But you don't
Honestly, as a woman, I don't understand the whole point of the extensions. They look fake. They look gaudy. If you have a medical reason and you need extensions, say, on your eyelashes to make them look like you actually have eyelashes, that's maybe one thing. But, I mean, it'd be nice to have a guy's opinion and see what you guys think.
I don't know, man. There ain't nothing sexy about, like, fucking, I don't know, like feathers coming out of your nose. Like, that shit ain't sexy. I don't know, or maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it's a cultural thing. I don't know. Maybe it's like the chicks that put like rings on their neck to elongate their necks. I don't know.
Maybe it's to tell each other apart.
Sure, yeah, totally.
Because there's a shit ton of them out there. So there's a group of them that got hair, extra hair coming out of their nose. At least hey, we've met.
You're part of my nose hair posse.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's only a group of like three sad souls.
Nah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, well I mean maybe I'm wrong. She said there was quite a bit. It's trendy now.
I'm sure there's some celebrity somewhere, whether they're a Chinese, Japanese, Asian celebrity, whether they're popular over there, over here, what have you. And they said, hey, let's do this. Why? Because we can. And I'm sure that's how it started.
Yeah, there to be different.
I'm all about being different.
That's
This is one.
I would say, right?
Yeah, I would say this is one difference. I don't think I'll hop on that bandwagon. I'm good. So if you guys find something stupid out on the internet, you can either email it to us at officialoglfg@gmail.com, or you can send us a tweet at giantleap4b, and we would be happy to take in your submissions for Stupid Thing of the Week.
For sure. I want to say thank you, Sheamus, for coming on and being a part of the show.
Yay!
I wasn't ever really here. Let's just remember that.
Right. Everywhere at all times.
Oh, shit.
You never did say what my geek level was. You just, had me answer those questions.
I would say you're no, I would say you're definitely not quite on the waifu end of the spectrum.
Okay.
You're probably more on the, you know, like in between like casual geek and maybe like a little bit more moderate.
I like it. I'll take it. I've never been accepted into the geekdom before. I'm very proud.
There you go. We'll get you a card laminated and the whole thing. It'll be awesome.
Yes, do it. Do it. I love laminated cards of all sorts.
Yeah, no, you get discounts at Costco and shit with it. It's cool.
We'll have to make them an honorary mug.
Right, there you go. Yeah, there's only 2 in the world right now, maybe 3. One Giant Leap for Geek coffee mugs. Put your orders in our merch store. No, it's just a coffee mug. Just water usually.
We drink whatever we want out of it.
Hennessy mostly.
got the gym and some whiskey and I don't know, whatever else we think we can shove in there.
Oh, all that shit.
Right.
Well, yeah, man, no, for sure. Definitely tell the people how to get a hold of you again and where to find your show.
Oh, yeah. Once again, ladies and gentlemen who listen to this lovely podcast, it was great having me. I know that. No, but you guys can find me pretty much anywhere on Twitter and Instagram. You know, if you want to get a hold of Sheamus, it's at Sheamus. Sheamus posts on Twitter. It's at Sheamus Isn't Funny on Instagram. Two Gun Podcast. This Isn't Yelling, and Keep the _podcast. All of them out there on Twitter, man. Check us out on Podbean. It seems to be like that's a place we need you to listen to us. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Just if you listen to us at all, really, just turn it on. Honestly, and walk away. But yeah, man, it's been great. It's been great. Lovely show, man. I'm very humbled being here. You know.
No, thank you. No, we're glad to have you on, and we're glad to have you as our like first official guest. Like we haven't had anybody else on the show so far. So
see, we get to pop each other's cherries. I like that.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
1 for 1. But yeah, maybe next time we'll get a whole thing going. We get every single person we know on one podcast. What do you think?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. Because it was unfortunate we were never able to get Luke on.
I know.
Yeah, but it's all
I'll
good
be
though.
scolding him. Don't you worry about that.
No, but it's all good though. I'm sure we'll have you guys on again.
Yeah, I definitely look forward to listening to the episode, man. Hopefully your recording went a lot better than mine.
Oh yeah, hopefully so. So far, so good.
Sweet.
All right,
man.
All right, then. Well, all right, guys, that is going to be it for the show. Remember, you can always find us at our home, onegiantleapforgeeks.libsyn.com, or on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Music, Stitcher, TuneIn, or really anywhere else you get your podcast. Make sure to show us some love, so go ahead and like, subscribe, rate, follow, review, all that shit.
And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you just want to say hi, you can email us at officialoglfg@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter at Giant Leap, 4 Geeks. We're on Facebook, Reddit, Pinterest, Tumblr, and Instagram. All you have to search for is One Giant Leap for Geeks. All right, you guys have a good night. Bye.